Hi friends, welcome back to SPK English Academy. In today's class, I'm going to discuss the great 17th century poet, dramatist, and critic John Dryden. John Dryden was the major poet of that classical age. He gave his own contribution to history of English literature and also literary theory, and he was also a great dramatist. In this class, we did discuss Dryden as a critic, an essay on dramatic poesy, his defense of rhyme and tragic comedy, his answers to French critics. John Dryden lived between 1631 to 1700, means 17th century. Dryden was the most important and dominant poet, critic, and dramatist of the neoclassical age. See, this neoclassical age is also called as Augustan age or the age of Dryden because he was the dominating figure of that age. He was a versatile writer who worked in all branches of literature. Dr. Johnson called him, means Dr. Johnson called Dryden as the father of English criticism. It's very important statement. Many times a question is asked in both the set and net. Who called John Dryden as the father of English criticism? His great critical work is Essay on Dramatic Poesy. The whole contribution of John Dryden about criticism is in this essay on dramatic poesy. It is very important literary work in English criticism. Dryden's criticism incorporated with the numerous prefaces, epilogues, and letters of dedication which he prefixed to his poetic and dramatic works all through his long literary career. Now we discuss his great work on literary criticism. So that is Essay on Dramatic Poesy. Essay on Dramatic Poesy was published in 1668. It is a great critical work of Dryden. In this, he says that his aim was to vindicate the honor of English writers. See, what is the aim of writing this essay on dramatic poesy? To vindicate the honor of English writers from the censure of those who unjustly prefer the French before them. The essay is also an attempt to evolve the principles of which ought to guide us in judging a play, as well as an effort to discover the rules which could help a dramatist in writing a good play. The play is also a contribution to two current controversies. The first one controversy is that regarding the comparative superiority of ancients and the moderns. Dryden demonstrated the superiority of the moderns over the ancients, as also the superiority of Restoration English dramatists over the dramatists of the previous generation, that is, the Elizabethans. The second controversy is that the comparative merits and demerits of blank verse and rhyme for dramatic purposes. Dryden upheld the superiority of the rhyme verse. How was the plan of Dryden's work, Essay and Dramatic Poesy? See, the relative merits of ancient and modern poets, whether existing French school of drama is superior to the English, whether the Elizabethan dramatists were in all points superior to those of Dryden's own time, whether plays are more perfect in proportion as they conform to the ancient dramatic rules, whether the substitution of rhyme for blank verse in serious plays is an improvement. So this is the plan of the Dryden's work, essay and dramatic poesy. So the context. So what was the context? He is responsible for writing an essay on dramatic poesy for Dryden. See, in 1663, a French man called Samuel Sorber visited England on some diplomatic mission, and on returning to France did the undiplomatic thing of publishing an account of his voyage in which he made some unfavorable remarks about English science and English taste. English taste means about English drama. Sorbet succeeded in provoking one reply, both on scientific and literary grounds, from the historian of the English Royal Society, Thomas Pratt. Very soon, Dryden appeared in the celebration of public events. Four characters and their opinions. So, in this essay, the dramatic poesy, Dryden gave the opinions of the four characters and also his reply to those on defense of tragic comedy and the defense of rhyme. See what the first character creates, what that creates says, how did he attack? See the first one, creates. Standing perhaps for Dryden's brother-in-law, Sir Robert Howard, he expounded the extreme classical view that the Greeks and the Romans fully discovered and illustrated those reasonable and perennial rules to which the modern drama conform. Among the ancient poetry was held in high esteem. Poets who were highly honored and suitably rewarded. There was healthy competition among them to excel each other. Today, the poets do not take pains as they have no such encouragement. The ancients were faithful imitators of nature, which is distorted and disfigured in the drama of the day. We vow all the dramatic rules of dramatic composition to the classics. We have added nothing of our own to the rules of Aristotle and Horace. It means we only following the ancients rules, what were set by the Europeans, Aristotle and Horace. And the ancients observed the three unities well. The unity of time means that the action should not take more than 24 hours. Remember carefully the unity of time, the three unities: unity of time, unity of place, and unity of, that is, place, are introduced by the Greek poet or the critic Aristotle. The unity of time means that the action of the drama should not take more than 24 hours. That drama should be completed, should take its action within 24 hours. So that is the rule of that unity of time, and it should be equal to divided between the acts. The English do not follow the unity of time. He says the English dramatists did not follow the unity of time. It means they extended, they violated the unity of time, and therefore ill represent nature. The second one, the unity is the unity of place. The unity of place means that the same scene should be continued throughout for the stage being one place. It can be represented as money. Many the French observe this unity, but but not the English. The third unity is Unity of action means that there should be only one great and complete action in the drama. So that is the importance of unity of action. There may be a number of actions subservient to the main action, as in the plays of Ben Jonson. See, as in the plays of Ben Jonson, but they must all be conducive to the main design and be subordinated to it. See, according to John Dryden, that Ben Jonson's plays are very, very well written according to the ancient three unities: unity of time, unity of action, and unity of place. That Ben Jonson, the contemporary of Shakespeare, followed very sincerely these three unities in his drama. So there is a gross violation of these unities in English drama, which makes it unnatural and improbable, thus making the superiority of the ancients unquestionable. The second character, we have discussed that creeds, what that creeds said, and Eugenius. See, perhaps Dryden's friend Charles Sackville, Lord Buckhurst, takes up the case for moderns. Perhaps Dryden's friend Charles Sackville, Lord Buckhurst, takes up the case for the moderns. See, the modern plays are superior to the ancient. See what Eugenius says: modern plays are superior to the ancients because the moderns have the advantage of experience and the rules of the ancients, as well as the life and nature before them, which they imitate. Just as in the arts and sciences, the moderns have discovered much in drama. For example, plays of the ancients were divided by the entrance. See, the plays of the ancients were divided by the entrance, but not by acts. So Eugenius says, Horace introduced the division of it into acts. The first time that in the history of drama, so that Horace, Roman critic, divided that drama into acts. So before this Horace, only drama was divided into entrance. See here, so the Greeks cannot be said to have perfected the art of poesy. This is the reason. It means the modern English dramatist divided their drama into acts, but the Greeks did not divide those dramas into acts. See, their plots were traditional, already known to the people, and so lacked in novelty and pleasure. So, the main aim of poesy, to cause delight, to create delight, happiness, was gone. They use stock and hackneyed plots. Hackneyed plots means the plots taken from others' works and characters in their comedies. Though the ancients divided the unities, they did not observe it perfectly. The French, not by Aristotle or Horace, made the unity of place into a rule. Their acts are shorter than even the well read scenes the modern English plays, as their plots are narrow and persons few. There is too much of specifying at the cost of action and hence monotony and boredom. See, their plays neither delight nor instruct, as there is no poetic justice. They often show a prosperous wickedness and an unhappy pity. Even though separate persons wrote comedies and tragedies, they failed to achieve perfection in the chosen branch. Hence, there is no justification for their shortcomings. Often they are guilty of faulty diction, kinase, and the metaphors. Their tragedies lack love scenes. They, they raise horror by their scenes of lust, cruelty, and bloodshed. Love, the most frequent of all the passions, alone can temper the horror of such scenes because the absence of the moderating influence of love. Their tragedies arouse only horror, not compassion. Charles Sidley, a younger wit of the day, he demonstrated the superiority of the French over the English drama. He compared the French drama with that of English drama. So he demonstrated the superiority of the French dramatist over the English. According to him, French dramas are superior to English. So what is said here? The French observe the unities to perfection. See what that Charles Sidley says. French dramatists observed all the three unities perfectly. They interpret single revolution of the sun. Single revolution of the sun means 24 hours. The unity of time to mean 12 hours and not 12 hours and not 24, and try to reduce all plays to this compass. The entire action is being limited to the spot where it began. They do not burden their plots. They have nothing so absurd the English tragic comedy. They offered in a more reasonable manner. Even though the plots of their tragedy are based upon some known history, they mix fact with fiction so well that they are able to arouse consentment. In this respect, they excel the ancients. They are never the guilty of the absurdities of Shakespeare, who cramps the business of 30 years into 2 or 3 hours. Unlike the English, they are true to nature. There is no multiplicity of action and incident in their place, and so there is enough time to represent one passion well and fully instead of hurrying from one to another as in the English plays. In their plays, one character is exalted above the rest, but due to attention is paid to other characters, and every one of them is given to a suitable role to play. The French manage their narrations or relations much more skillful than the English. He says the French managed their narrations or relations much more skillfully than the English. The suitable management of the plot avoids the narration of the events and antecedents to the play. Through the relation of the events that have happened off the stage, they avoid the tumult and violence of the English stage. Narration is also necessary to reduce the plot to a more reasonable compass of time. There are no sudden changes or conversion in their place as in the English. He says in English plays there are sudden changes or conversion, but this is not happened in the place of the French. They use rhyme, means the French dramatists use rhyme, which is to be preferred to the English blank verse. The use rhyme beautifies a play. The new man Dryden himself upheld. Now we discuss the fourth character, very important character, Neander. Neander himself, nothing but that Dryden. Dryden created his own character in the name of Neander. So that Neander or Dryden answered or replied all the questions raised by the others, or the creeds, Eugenius, and other French. The new man, Dryden himself, upheld the superiority of English drama over the French and the rhyme over the blank verse. It means Neander or Dryden prefers English drama to French and rhyme to blank verse. There is no doubt that the French plays are more regular and the laws are better followed. It is also true that English plays have many irregularities, but neither our parts nor their virtue are considerable enough to place them above us. They lack the rich variety of humor in English plays. Molière and some other French dramatists have started mingling tragedy and comedy, serious and gay in the manner of English. They lack variety. Dryden justifies tragic comedy on the following grounds. Here also Dryden defended that tragic comedy. How what that Dryden said about tragic comedy, how he defended the tragic comedy. See, the first one, contraries see of each other. A scene of mirth introduced in a tragedy refreshes and provides relief. Compassion mirth to do, compassion myth do not destroy each other. They are found together in nature also. Tragic comedy is a pleasant way of writing not known to the ancients or to the moderns of the other nations. The English plots are copious or varied. The French barren and narrow. They have only a single action. We have up underplots which move without the main action. Their preoccupation does not give them any advantage in the expression of passion. Their verses are cold and the long speeches are tiresome. Long speech may suit the genius of the French. Short speeches and replies are more likely to move the passions, and wit and repartee are the cheap graces of comedy. The English are superior to the French in the chase of wit. See, more characters in the play, the greater will be the variety. Only this variety should be so managed that there is no confusion. The great English dramatists like Ben Jonson have attained this skill. See again that Neander or John Dryden appreciated the skill of Ben Jonson as the perfect dramatist. He had attained very special skill. The English have too much action on the stage, but the French have too little. The French dramatist admitted that the unities have a cramping effect. Strict adherence to the unities often results in absurdities. The English may violate the unities, but their plots have greater variety and are more copious. See, here that Dryden says the French dramatist followed the unities very strictly, perfectly, but and this there are no varieties in the plots of the dramas of the French. Dryden agreed here. The English may violate the unities, but their plots have greater variety and the copies. But this variety we cannot find in the dramas of French. In the irregular plays of Shakespeare and Fletcher, there is a greater spirit and masculine fancy than in any of the French. Ben Jonson's plays as or as correct as those of the French. Here again, see that Ben Jonson's plays are as correct as the French dramas. Here, Dryden equalized the plays of Ben Jonson to those of the French. That Ben Jonson had such kind of ability. Then follows the critical estimates of Shakespeare, Beaumont, and Fletcher and Johnson. He says, remember all nut and set aspirants. This statement is very, very important. Many question paper, this statement is asked. See, I admired him. Him refers to Johnson. It means I admired Johnson. Andre, Dryden admired Johnson, but he loves Shakespeare. Huh? Dryden said this statement. I refers to Dryden. I admire him refers to Johnson. And but I love Shakespeare. This is a statement made by Dryden. Be careful about this. Ben Jonson's Silent Woman. See about this Ben Jonson's Silent Woman, a play which has the three unities and the continuity of sins. It is faultlessly constructed strictly according to the rules of the ancients. There also variety of characters and humors. See, according to Dryden, Ben Jonson's Silent Woman or the Epicene, a play which has the three unities and the continuity of sins. This drama is faultlessly constructed strictly according to the rules of the ancients. Now, discussion on rhyme and blank verse. Here, Creeds attacks rhyme violently, and also Dryden responded to Creed's attack and he replied to Creed attacks in this essay. Rhyme is not to be allowed in serious plays, though it may be allowed in comedies. Rhyme is unnatural in a play. For a play is in dialogue, and no man without premeditation speaks in rhyme. Here, blank verse is also unnatural. For a man, but no man speaks in verse either, but is near to prose. And Aristotle had laid down the tragedy should be written in a verse form, which is nearest to prose. So how that creates attacks on the rhyme violently. See, drama is just a representation in nature, and rhyme is unnatural for nobody in nature expresses himself in rhyme. It is artificial, and the art is too apparent. True art consists in hiding art. It is said that rhyme helps the poet to control its fancy. See, but one who has not the judgment to control his fancy in blank verse will not be able to control in rhyme either. Artistic control is a matter of judgment and not of the rhyme or verse. Neander or Dryden, see, Neander is nothing but Dryden himself, replies to creeds and speaks in defense of rhyme. How that Dryden depended rhyme against creeds attack. See, natural words in a natural order make the language natural, whether it is verse or rhymes that is used. Rhyme may be made natural by the use of pun on lines and variety resulting from the use of hemistich, manipulation of pauses and stress and the change of meter. Blank verse, if poetic prose fits only for comedies, rhyme verse alone is suitable for tragedy. Rhyme is justified by its universal use among all the civilized nations of the world. The Elizabethans achieved perfection in the use of blank verse, and the moderns cannot excel them. See, according to Dryden, he said that the Elizabethan dramatists achieved perfection in the use of blank verse, but not moderns. The nobility whose judgment alone counts like it, the rhyme, the noblest kind of verse, is suitable to tragedy, representing nature exalted to its highest pitch. Rhyme is an aid to judgment and makes it easier for poets to control the flight of fancy. Violation of entities, Dryden's justification. How that violation, the English violation of the entities, lends greater copiousness and variety to English plays. The entities have narrowing and cramping effects on the English French plays, and they often betrayed into absurdities from which the English plays are free. The English disregard of unities enables them to present a more just and lively. See, the violation of the unity is Dryden's justification. The English dramatists violated the unities, but Dryden justified it. See, Shakespeare's plays are more true to nature and more delight than that any French play, even though he has not observed the entities. The English, when they do not observe the rules, as Ben Jonson has done in The Silent Woman, shows greater skill and art than French. There is no harm in introducing subplots, for they impart variety, richness, and copiousness to the play. To the view that the observance of the unities is justified on ground that their violation results in improbability, that it places too great a strain on the imagination of the spectators, and that credibility is stretched too far, he replies that it is all a question of dramatic illusion. See, Dryden's defense of tragic comedy. How Dryden defended tragic comedy. What reasons he had given. The contraries, when placed near, set off each other. Continued gravity depresses the spirit. A scene of mirth throws in between refreshes. Mirth does not destroy compassion. Just as the eye can pass from an unpleasant objection to the pleasant one, so also the soul can move from the tragic to the comic, and much more swiftly. The English have perfected a new way of writing not known to the ancients. It is all of a question of progress, of a change of taste. The ancients cannot be model for all times and countries. The real test of excellence is not strict adherence to the rules or conventions, but whether the aim of drama have been achieved. See, now I discuss some important facts about Dryden. The question will be set on these facts. Please listen to these carefully, and you better to note down in your notebook these facts. Dr. Johnson called as the father of English criticism because of his great contribution to English criticism. You know that Dr. Johnson called him as the father of English criticism. So that before John Dryden, there were no any great English critics like him. He was the first dominant critic in English literary theory. He was the dominant English critic until his days was not great critic in English. His critical work, Essay on Dramatic Poesy, covered all the aspects of literature. See, like drama, epic, tragedy, comedy, tragic comedy, nature, and functions of poetry. So it is said that John Dryden walked all the varieties of literary genre in his criticism, especially in the dramatic poesy. And next, Dryden freed the English criticism from dogmatic aspects. Before Dryden, all the English All the that critics and poets, they followed that old tradition or the dogmatic aspects. But when Dryden came to English language, he freed that English criticism from the dogmatic aspects. He created his own dogma or tradition. Dryden inaugurated the era of descriptive criticism. See, he was the first inaugurated the descriptive criticism. He preferred Ben Jonson to Shakespeare. It means that John Dryden gave more importance to Ben Jonson because he was the perfect playwright or dramatist according to John Dryden. See, he preferred Ben Jonson to Shakespeare in perfection of drama. So he said, I admire him. Ben Jonson, him refers to Ben Jonson, but I love Shakespeare. Remember about this quotation? According to Dryden, Ben Jonson's The Silent Woman has three unities and the continuity of scenes. It is constructed faultlessly according to the rules of the ancients. He is the father of comparative criticism in English. So friends, I think this video will definitely help in all net and KSET question papers. There is a question on Dryden as a as a critic, so you have to go through all this information and listen to my video very carefully. If it is needful, you have to note down some points in your notebook and prepare well for the next coming examination. Please subscribe to my channel and like my video, and also share this video to your other friends also. Thank you for watching my video.